event. Angel Espino, live on YouTube. Alright everybody, welcome back to my main channel here on YouTube, angelespino.com and YouTube/Angel Espino. Thank you for joining me on my second broadcast here on the great YouTube. I wanted to let you know that no, you're not hallucinating right now. The map has not really moved much. In the last 2 days, we started the show broadcast here Tuesday, Super Tuesday, which was supposed to be the election. And I was going to come back yesterday and do another broadcast, but I was like, let me wait and see what's happening. And so far, we're still pretty much where we were when we left off. But thank you all for being here and joining me on what's going to be not as long of a video. I went over 10 hours on the first one because I really thought we were going to have an election result. Unfortunately, we had an election disaster. But I wanted to get everybody up to date with what is happening in the world of the election 2020. So far, it looks like it's just unhinged, guys. But before we get to it, I want to thank everybody for being a Patreon in the last couple months, and encourage everybody who's listening to the show right now, or paying attention, or watching, or being yelled at, whatever I'm saying, or however you're here with me. Thank you for joining me. But please take a look at the Patreon page, and every little helps. So you can give a couple bucks. That's how we're surviving and staying afloat during the COVID-19 and, of course, personal health issues and this whole uncertainty of what's going on in the future. So if you guys could go to patreon.com/Angel Espino, you'll find me right on there. Again, patreon.com/Angel Espino. Very easy. You could also go to angelespino.com and check out my personal website. And by the way, it is kind of funny, but my website on Facebook has been targeted. And he's literally smoking crack. To the point, doing some kind of drugs. And the video is that I can't post on Facebook my own link to my own website, which is kind of weird. I never thought I was going to go through something like that, but I am. It is what it is. But again, if you guys want to join me on Patreon, very simple. You just go to patreon.com/Angel Espino. That's my name. This is me. I'm not hiding my identity. So, if you guys could go over there and chip in, I'd really appreciate it. And now with further details, as you guys could see on the map, again, nothing has moved much, other than we know now some of the tactics that are being used by the left to, broker this horrible election disaster in their favor. And when I say that, I say broker, but I really want to use another word, rigged. Because, folks, this is a complete rig job. I mean, it's you don't have to be a science major or a rocket scientist or anybody of any kind of a high degree to see this for what it is. A water pipe burst, and now we find out that it wasn't even when they were counting ballots. It had nothing to do with the center where they were counting ballots up in Georgia, but for some reason that made them stop counting at 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning, and then all of a sudden they said, well, now we're gonna have to wait till Friday to get all the ballots in. And mysteriously, in the county where Keisha Bottoms is the mayor, that's where they're having this issue. It's all the liberal leftist Democrat cities are having these terrible problems when it comes to ballot counting. You guys notice that? I mean, I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one, right? Shout out to Dan Bongino, by the way, who is very instrumental in bringing a lot of this stuff forward. And I know he's going through health issues himself, and there's a lot of people that are talking about this, and I've been doing so for many, many months. As you know, this is only my second broadcast, so I've been sitting back and watching a lot of the people on the internet talk about this on both sides. And it amazes me how people are still not completely clued into what's happening. Trump, for as much as somebody might want to hate him for whatever stupid reason, he warned us that this was going to happen. Months ago, he said the mail-in ballots, universal mail-in ballots, like the left wanted to do, was a nightmare. And it was wrong. It was going to help rig the election. And here we are. We're, now it's what? November 6th. Okay, the election was supposed to be on the 3rd. In my lifetime, I'm 42. I know I don't look it, but I am 42. In my lifetime, I've never gone through an election where 3 days later we still don't know who the next president is, or if it's going to be the same president, or what's going on. And this is all in, again, cities and states that are heavily Democratic, ran places. How ironic. I mean, you're talking about Georgia, you're talking about Pennsylvania, you're talking about, North Carolina for a while there. Look, just look at the map. I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, I point this way because it's this way, but it's actually over on this side here. I got to get used to pointing correctly. Look at the map. Look at North Carolina, Georgia, Pennsylvania. I mean, these are all areas where it's easy to rig stuff. And when we're talking about rigging an election, there's many ways that they've done this. Universal mail-in ballots leads for perfect, rigging. Because, even some of these states, which is totally illegal, by the way, had judges pretty much pass laws saying that signatures didn't have to match. I mean, what kind of crap is that? When have you seen that you can vote for somebody and your signature on the ballot doesn't even have to match your signature? I mean, I was, thinking about here in Florida how, they really did a good job, at least when I went. I had a pen, not a Sharpie, which, a lot of people are complaining about. So I know in that aspect it was legit. I did see some Sharpies, but, in my booth there was a pen, so I'm not going to complain about that. Let's see. They put the thing through. The thing is, they put the paper through the machine. It scans it. Great. As a voter, you don't know what happens next to your vote, right? That's the trickery. I don't know why Florida took so long to give the red to Trump, because it was clear he was going to win it, but it took a long time to call Florida. Nevada, Arizona. Arizona was given to Biden way too early, and they still had areas where votes were coming in supposedly, and Trump had been leading there for a long time, and then they just decided, oh no, we're going to give it to Biden. In a sea of red, they're going to give it to Biden. Really? Nevada's the same thing. Sea of red, Reno, and Las Vegas. The two areas were a little bit more blue, but I mean, are you seriously gonna tell me that two cities, I know they're heavily populated, but those two cities that are completely Democratic, tell me that there might not have been some shenanigans going on? I mean, I'm gonna use a Biden-ism here. That smells like malarkey to me. Okay, now North Carolina and Georgia. Again, Keisha Bottoms in Georgia. I mean, I don't trust her at all. I mean, I don't trust that lady. And for that being one of the places that they just shut everything down, smells kind of fishy. So we're still back at this thing where like the map says, some places are a little bit higher, some places are a little bit lower. No side wants to concede, obviously. Trump still believes there's a pathway to winning, which there is. The problem is, this thing is rigged. And mysteriously, the curve has been outrageous in some of these areas where, like several 100,000 votes came in all for Biden, really? Sleepy, creepy Joe. And that's what we're talking about, the universal mail-in ballots being a disaster. This is what Trump warned us about. That's part of the rigging, folks. But another part of the rigging is the people that are on the inside, and we're talking about people that are on Silicon Valley that are working their asses off to make this rig, legit. People in the media, the fake news that are completely sold out. Social media, like I said, my website is banned on Facebook. I literally cannot post my link anywhere on Facebook. AngelEspino.com. If I post that, and by the way, I paid for the SSL for the year. Okay, so my website is very legit. Mind you, it's my name. So, it doesn't get more legit than that. And it has my face on the very top. So, I'm sorry, maybe that's why they banned it. I don't know. But Facebook banned my website. Why? It makes no sense. But they're doing that to a lot of people because, social media is playing a big part in this, and we all knew this was going to happen. This is kind of like payback for, I think, people protesting social media's involvement in politics over the last 3 or 4 years, because we've seen what they've been doing and how they're completely leftist. And if it wasn't for like promotional, usage, I think a lot of people wouldn't be on Facebook, to be honest. But Facebook is a good way to promote whatever it is you're working on, because you can reach a huge audience. You really can. Just like Twitter, just like YouTube. That's why we have, these companies blow up and make so much money, because, we're able to jump on there and make a substantial living, some of us. And some of us, like myself, are trying to get there slowly but maybe surely. Just don't call me Shirley. Now, with Facebook banning my website, it's going to make it a little bit tougher to post some stuff on there, but I'll be posting mostly like the regular links that you're going to see from here. And you're going to see me post just the YouTube links, not my actual website. Now, I wanted to play a video that I found, and I'm not going to say how, of some folks who want to be, I guess, infamous from behind the scenes, because it's great to make yourself part of an evil agenda to overthrow the government, right? But it when you're a coward, you do this from behind the scenes, and you don't allow people to see who you are, basically. And there's some people that need to be exposed. And when I saw this, this is some kind of like smoking gun type of video. And folks, this is a coup. What's going on? It's a coup. It's an overthrow of the government, basically starting from within. And a lot of people are in play now. I'm gonna play this clip. It's a few minutes long. I really want you guys to pay attention to this, because this is, it's sensitive material, but at the same time, it's important material. And when you see this, it really is gonna hit home what we're up against. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this on here and see if we can get this to play. Check this out. Remember, I'm still new at this whole streaming thing, so bear with me. All right, hopefully that plays good.
Do we have any plans for how to
There we
respond if
go.
there's a coup?
So I'll hop in there, Kiki. Thanks so much for creating the space and to BLMDC for organizing this, because this was a really amazing training. Yeah, we have been in discussion for a couple months about how to respond to different contested election scenarios, and the first step is that we think that we need to start the post-election phase in the streets. So we're inviting people to come to BLM Plaza anytime after 4 p.m. on election night, and we're going to watch what's going on together. And we'll have a bunch of go-go bands. We'll have Step Africa. We're going to have lots of different performers, and we're going to watch what's happening and respond in real time.
No justice! No peace! If we don't get it, shut it down!
Then for the next, the first phase after the election is we need to be ready to respond to to do whatever it takes to defend democracy. So on the 4th, we're inviting people to come to BLM Plaza at 1 p.m. We're going to go out and figure out who is undermining the election, stopping the voting count, making sure that disenfranchising black folks all over the country, and we're going to go knock on their doors. On the 5th, we're going to shut down the White House. On the 6th, we're going to shut down larger parts of Washington, D.C. And then the following week, all the mainstream groups are going to come to D.C. and try to have a march on the 7th. So that's a Saturday, and we'll see how that goes. But then, the following week, Congress is planning on coming to town and passing laws again and having business as usual. And we're saying if we're in a coup, there's no time for business as usual. We need to shut members of Congress that are coming in. We're going to meet them at the airports or at Union Station and send them back to where they came from until we deal with the situation that we're in. And then if we need to go to Capitol, if enough of them get in and we need to go to Capitol Hill that week, we'll do that too. And we're coordinating all this through a spokes council process, which is a directly democratic process where affinity groups are coming together to coordinate with each other.
2 questions. One is, are we waiting at all or looking at all for positive affirmation of a coup, or assuming it's happening? And then 2, we were curious about the rationale for starting at 11 on the 4th, and just
Great. Any other clarifying questions? So I'm going to take the coup. It's already happening, Mike. Just naming that, in all seriousness, we should realize there's been enough indications of trying to stop vote counting in enough states that we actually do have enough information right now and that we don't need to wait for further behavior in order to make that determination. So just that remind everyone that everything that has led up to this moment and how many things that they've been very intentional on and how many times Trump has said he is looking to the courts to make a decision. So just thought we would name that.
November the 3rd, meet us at the plaza at 4 o'clock. We're going to be with Shut It Down DC, Long Live Go-Go, and we're going to be down there from 4 p.m. to 12 midnight, centering Black people, right? And we're going to be back out there on the 4th, 1 o'clock. Save your energy. It's going to be popping. DC going to be popping, and we're going to defend Black lives. And, you know, for those who into the voting, you know, the results are going to be shown on a building down there, so you'll be able to watch the election results as they happen. So yeah, we want people to come out, come to the plaza on the 3rd, 4 o'clock p.m. and stand in solidarity with us during this election day.
There you go, folks. Without a doubt, it's a coup. That's right. This video, it's telling you right there, is showing you exactly what's happening with these folks that are completely selling their country out and are eating up this Marxist agenda. Now, don't mismatch words here. This is a Marxist takeover, okay? And let's be realistic of what's going on. People think Marxists, and they think Nazis, and they think Hitler, and they think white Aryan race. Black Lives Matter, BLM, the founders, which is a couple ladies, and they actually took credit. I failed at the name right now. I'll have to look it up on their website. But if you do your homework, you know who I'm talking about. The creator of Black Lives Matter actually came out and said, yeah, they're a Marxist organization. Exactly, right? Shocking. They follow the same Marxist, communist, socialist agenda that Hitler followed. And what you're watching now is a complete takeover of the country like we've seen before. The media is sold out. They're sold out to communist, socialists like China. Okay? I'm sure Russia's playing their part. And there are other people playing their part. But, we live in a republic, and, we live in a country that is not socialist. It's not communist. Or at least we thought we weren't. We've never been labeled that. But there's a lot of people that have really gotten in positions of power over the last 20 years, which follow those ideology to a T. And right now, these people are the ones that are in Congress. Some of them are in the Senate. And they have been circling the wagons for months at the president to orchestrate this very, very, brilliant takeover. I mean, when you look at the spectrum of what these people have done, it's mind-boggling. It really is. To the point that if you're conservative, they silence you completely in some places. The funny thing is, I was liberal, at least I thought I was liberal for a long time. And I voted for Obama. I voted Democrat for years. And in 2015, I started to walk away from the party because it just wasn't the party for me anymore. So I left the Democrat Party, and I didn't register as a Republican. In fact, I'm not a Republican in registry. So if I looked myself up actually recently to see if they finally gave me what I wanted when it came to my voter identification info as how I'm registered, and it took a while for them to actually make it so I am a independent. I have no party affiliation. which is exactly how I wanted. I don't want to be either or. I'm in the middle. I'll listen to anybody who is running, and I'll choose for myself. Thank you very much. Now, the great thing about being in the middle and really paying attention is I really have gotten political, like I've said on the 10-hour show, that, to the point where as I've gotten older, I've gotten more and more into politics, and I started to see on the left the hypocrisy and the craziness of what was happening, and I just didn't dig it, to be honest with you. I really didn't think it was for me, because I saw really the lies and the mind manipulation and all kinds of things were happening, and there's a few things that really hated home for me. When Obama passed Obamacare, that affected me personally, and because of that, I couldn't continue listening to what Obama was trying to sell, because Obama really, he effed us all with Obamacare, let's be honest, to the point where part of the rule was if you didn't have health care, they made you pay a fine. So if you cannot afford health care because you're poor, they're going to fine you for not being able to afford health care. And the fines are like some crazy, number so for not being able to buy health care, I still have to pay you. Think about that. That was Obama Biden. And when I saw that in the Obamacare Act, which was really, I call it Obama Didn't Care, and I call him Obamination. That's what he was as president. He was President Obamination. To me, when I saw that, I flipped, and I was like, this is no good. And I had a conversation with my mother's oncologist at the time. And as soon as that bill went through, she, a Middle Eastern woman also, read her text, and they had just gone through with the bill. And she said, oh my God, this is the worst thing that's ever happened. And I looked at her and I was like, is there an asteroid coming? What's going on? And she said, no, they just passed Obamacare. And I was like, oh, isn't that a good thing? Universal health care for everybody, And she was like, you could get health coverage through many companies, right? They have companies with pre-existing conditions. And it's not like it's not universal now, she said. And I said, yeah, that's true. And she said, all this is mandated health care. And she said, something that stuck in my head, she said, do you have health coverage? And I was like, yeah. And she goes, good luck keeping it. And I was like, well, he said we're going to get to keep, our coverage, and, if we're good with our doctors. And she's like, no, you're going to lose it, trust me. And she was really, really upset. And she said that she didn't like Obama. She didn't trust him. Again, a Middle Eastern woman. And she didn't dig the president. And when she told me that resonated in the state of my head. And then sure enough, I was called by my then health providers, and they said pretty much, with the new Obamacare going into effect soon, your coverage might be affected. And they told me they're going to keep everybody informed. And basically my coverage tripled when the Obamacare kicked in fully. And I couldn't afford it. I was going through financial issues and stuff, and I couldn't afford it, so I had to drop my health care. Plus, they lied about the switching of the doctors and stuff, and there's a whole thing there. But I don't want to get too deep into it. But anyway, Obamacare was a disaster for myself and for millions of others out there. And that's personal. So that kind of like made me really look at what he was doing as president. And then I started seeing images of children with painting. They were marching with their parents, and they had like banners that said, "Please, President Obama, don't tear me and my mom apart," or something like that. I saw a couple images like that pop up on the internet, and that kind of like made me really rethink. I was like, man, this could really be bad. And then I started really to follow what the man was doing, and he just was not doing anything good for the country at all. And so at that point, I really thought about switching my allegiance and checking out what the conservatives had, on the Republican side. And what I saw was a little bit better. But I didn't want to just go from one party to the next, so I ended up in the middle. Right in the middle, independent. And I'm very proud of that, and I'm going to stay right there. Because, you win some, you lose some, you like some, you don't like some. And I think, being independent is the right way to go. I'm not running for president. If I had to, I'd probably run as a Republican, to be honest with you. I think I am leaning more conservative at this point in my life. But that's only because I'm looking at the left, and man, they're just, even like the more moderate lefts or Democrats are just, they're radicalizing. I mean, they really are. And you're seeing more and more of Congress and the Senate that are Democrats being filled with, let's just say, people that, are first generation Americans. And a lot of them are Middle Eastern. And they bring their religion and their beliefs more into their politics than they really should. Remember, these people are supposedly voted in, right? So when you vote these people in to represent, their districts or, to represent the people, you'd expect that they'd have a good agenda for you and for your area. I want everybody in the Bronx and in New York who might watch this video to really think, has Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, or as a lot of people know her as AOC, done anything for your area in 4 years? What has she done? Take your time. I mean, no rush. We're not going anywhere. Apparently. I mean, look at the map. Going nowhere. They said by Friday, maybe Saturday, we might have, some answers. I don't know. So take your time. But can you, when you guys think of something, email me. Let me know. Tell me what you think she's done. Go to my website, angelespino.com, and send me an email on the website. I tell you, she's done absolutely nothing. She drove away jobs from New York. Remember that? The Amazon deal that went flying away? Thanks to her. She did that. That she did, miraculously. How many thousands of jobs, millions of dollars, that left? And by the way, those were warehouse jobs, which with a pandemic would have been fantastic for the people in that area who had to find a different way of making a living because of what's going on. Imagine if they had this huge warehouse where they're, like at least it's a controlled environment, right? And it pays well. So what has she done for us lately? All she's done since she's been there is she trashed the president, made a fool of herself, concocted this Green New Deal. By the way, I'm wearing a green shirt, not because of the Green New Deal. This is shout outs to the homie Kyle, who's still in lockdown from Konisha. But in all seriousness, back to the disaster known as AOC. In the squad, it's AOC plus 3. And that's just the beginning of that. I call them the fraud squad. A lot of people call them the squad. There's a lot more than just those 4, but you start there. But it's kind of funny, isn't it? That we haven't heard much from like crazy Nancy Pelosi and Nadler, Schiff in the last couple of days. They've been kind of quiet. You guys notice that, right? It's like they're behind the scenes going, "Mwah. Our evil plans have worked, Chuck Schumer." Mwah. And it's working apparently because, again, universal ballots do nothing but flood people's homes with 2, 3, 4 ballots sometimes, and people are gonna fill them out and send them in. And if you hate the president, or if you are somebody who is going around and doing these curbside ballot pickups or whatever the hell it's called, where you're picking up hundreds and hundreds of ballots and you're in on it, guess what? You could have people doing that, and they're picking up a bunch of ballots and throwing out the ones for Trump and then just putting in the ones for Biden. I mean, I saw some charts where, like, I think it was in PA, where, like, overnight it, like, spiked over 100,000, all 100% for Joe Biden. I mean, really, guys, if Biden wins, let's just really reflect on what is next. This is really scary. What we have coming up is, minimum 4 years of a Biden locked in a basement, sleeping, and his VP, the ever pandering Kamala Harris, actually running the show. Remember, they slipped a couple times with, "Oh, this is the Kamala Harris administration with Joe Biden." Well, which is it? Is it Kamala Harris? Is it Harris, administration? You tell us, Kamala. I don't know. And, Joy Reid and a lot of these, leftist people in media and Hollywood are really now trying hard to sell Kamala. You guys notice that? They're trying hard, right? You know why? Because she's not likable. I mean, they really only picked her because she's a complete puppet. She doesn't care about you. She doesn't care about me. She doesn't care about anybody. She cares about herself. That's it. That's all she cares about. So when you're talking about somebody who's like that, I mean, let's be honest. Is that somebody you want as your commander-in-chief? As your president? Now, as you saw in the video I played earlier, those are people that are planning a coup. And, when you saw that video, they're talking about stuff that ended up happening. And, of course, since we didn't get a result, further action wasn't taken. But I wanted to show some of those faces because, some of these people think that, they could do this from behind the scenes and not get exposed for what they're doing. And they really, when you do stuff like this, it ends up like Venezuela. It ends up like one of these really just messed up places where I don't want us to be at. I don't think anybody wants to be in one of these, disaster countries. Nobody wants that, guys. I mean, the last thing we need in the United States of America is communism, socialism. We just, when you look at it on the outside and you don't know any better, it might sound like the greatest show on earth. But when you come from one of these countries and you see what it does to your people and you see the evil that it does, it's no good. It never is. And I'm just really sad and depressed that people really believe that this somehow is a positive. It really it just isn't. I don't get it. There's another video I'm going to play for you guys and that use guys. And this is a federal employee activist tactics and bureaucracy. And this is interesting stuff. He really, I mean, this is
Let's
some
talk about what
highly classified stuff. This is about 4 minutes, and I want you to pay attention to the faces and the names. One of the guys even takes credit for being a whistleblower in this video. All right, and I'm gonna try to put this out in a second here. Let me see. I don't want to show the place I'm getting it at, so let me set it up properly. Don't worry, don't worry. You're gonna get to see it. Relax. It's just gonna take me a second.
let's talk about what actions and decisions are in your immediate sphere of influence as somebody who works in the government.
I'm a management and programs analyst.
I work in the national security community.
I spent 3.5 years.
Oh, there we go. All right, here we go, guys. Check this out. This is the video.
Let's talk about what actions and decisions are in your immediate sphere of influence as somebody who works in the government.
I'm a management and programs analyst.
I work in the national security community.
I spent 3.5 years as a contractor at DHS HQ.
If you read the mainstream press, like they all have Signal accounts, text them, leak everything you can. The journalists I've dealt with have been super ethical in ways to shield me, to be the source of the leaks.
Groups on the outside being able to show solidarity with federal workers.
Making sure that we're naming what is happening as a coup.
Totally agreed. In the shutdown BC conversations that I've been having, and that's not on the federal side, we also are often saying, like, call it a coup. It's a coup. Don't let anyone tell you it's not.
President Harry S. Truman famously said, "I thought I was the president, but when it comes to these bureaucrats, I can't do a damn thing." So the bottom line with this is that we all, as ordinary people and as federal workers, have power. If masses of people engage in non-cooperation, no ruler can stay in power. Bureaucracy is a really powerful pillar. And, federal workers have unparalleled familiarity with the bureaucratic process. They know how to speed things up. They know how to slow them down. They have access to critical information about policies that are being considered and implemented. They can participate in internal decision-making. They can provide or deny knowledge and expertise that those at the top of the bureaucratic totem pole need. It ultimately comes down to individual decisions and personal choice. Deciding what to do or what not to do is a very personal decision. It's based on context. It's based on your rank, on your tolerance for risk, on your preparation, and frankly, where you sit in the federal bureaucracy. And we're talking about the range of different tactics. We talk about acts of commission and acts of omission. And another act of commission, albeit highly, risky, and there are a number of great downsides, is leaking. So leaking information about pending or actual policies with journalists, with activists, influential people on the outside. So another act of commission is creating parallel structures or self-organizing units. So organizing in the office place, in the workplace.
As an attorney in the federal government, I am finding the chat suggestions very interesting, and I just do want to remind people that we lose our status as federal employees if we strike.
And there's been a little conversation going on here, for example, about Black Lives Matter and how that is an example of a nonpartisan political statement. I guess that's been previously litigated. But whether or not you do a misdemeanor or an infraction on federal property or on public property really doesn't affect most of the jobs that you would be considered for. Just as a sideline note.
Yeah,
Okay.
as an attorney, I think we're highly, that's one of the things we have to be careful about.
I would just say this is also the importance of being in communication with and in touch with groups, civic groups, grassroots groups that are preparing people for the possibility that red lines may be crossed, that the election goes sideways, so everything from choose democracy to hold the line, to shut down, we count on us. I listed a few of those in the slides earlier, but they're the ones who are really in the vanguard of helping people think about, interpret red lines, and think about different actions that can be taken well beyond kind of street protests and demonstrations, but kind of sustained organizing and action.
What does it look like in practical terms to put, to slow the gears down in some ways or another?
At the Department of Labor, it takes the form of several rounds of the cost-benefit analysis for a new regulation. And when people were cheating on the numbers, a copy of that draft got leaked to the Daily Labor Report, and it got published and it got sent to a congressperson. And the Office of Inspector General opened an investigation on who was cheating on the numbers. So again, that's sort of a combination of tactics. It's making a really good paper trail. It's making sure that document got out to someone who could make use of it, and then Congress getting the Office of Inspector General involved. It was really a way to stop that thing just in its tracks, and it worked really well.
Well, there you have it, folks. It's a coup. And those are some of the faces that are doing stuff from behind the scenes. And, these people are going to get away with it. I mean, there's a whole lot more videos out there that are hitting the web showing this kind of information. So if you know how to get to it, take a look, sit down, watch them. It's very interesting stuff. If you go to my website, you're going to see some of the stuff posted on there later. Again, angelespino.com. You can see it, right in the bottom here. Also, the map has not moved. I don't think it's going to move anytime soon. Check out the Patreon one more time, patreon.com/Angel Espino. Guys, please also follow the show and hit the subscribe button. Give me a thumbs up if you like what you saw. If you didn't like it, well, at least give me a thumbs up anyway, help out. But if you do like what you see here on the show, this is again the second episode I put together. Please, check back with the podcast. We're going to be live for an hour every night, probably at midnight to 1. I'm going to do a video cast, Monday through Friday on YouTube, and hopefully, you guys follow along, and please subscribe. That's, very important, especially it means a lot for the monetization. And you guys, you know the thing. You know the thing. But we're gonna call it for a night, like they've called it for the last 2 nights, with nothing else moving, because again, we still don't know who won this damn thing, even though it's not looking good for Trump, just because it really does look like this thing is rigged, and we could be heading for a dark winter, a very, very dark, sad time for this country. I'm not a religious person. I'm agnostic, so this is not a religious thing for me. People are probably being like, this Angel, he's just a crazy Christian. I'm agnostic. I'm independent politically. I'm agnostic religiously, and I've been semi-vegetarian. I eat fish and chicken once in a while, but semi-vegetarian for like almost 30 years. Don't drink for like the last 16 and a half, 17 years, somewhere around there. Don't do drugs. And I don't smoke cigarettes. So go figure, right? I'm not exactly, the crazy Christian, redneck. By the way, I'm also Cuban. And as you can see there, the two flags in the back. So I'm not your typical, conservative right wing. That's not what you're listening to. You're gonna get as realism as I could possibly give you on this channel here on YouTube and over on my website, angelespino.com. So please follow me there. Again, patreon.com/angelespino. Drop a couple bucks. 5, 10, 2, whatever you guys can, please support the show and support what we got going here. Check out psn-radio.com for my audio shows on Sunday nights, 10 p.m. Eastern. Again, the show also on Thursdays, 10 p.m. Eastern till midnight. And I'm going to do live audio, video, and you're going to see it all on angelespino.com. But for, the video is going to be live on YouTube, again, on youtube.com/Angel Espino or Real Angel Espino. Yeah, I think it's on YouTube, Real Angel Espino. Let me double check that. I'm having a Biden moment. Let's see.
Like you're some kind of saint. Oh, we're only trying to keep people safe. Bullshit. You're causing more danger, more harm, more decimation, more destruction than ever before. And you're.
Let's go directly there. I'm gonna show you my beautiful website, in case you guys haven't seen it yet. Here it is. Check it out. That's my YouTube page, guys. So check out that YouTube page right there. I was right. YouTube.com/ it's a little C for channel, / Angel Espino. Bookmark that. Give me thumbs up on the video if you like the video. I rented on, I went on a little bit of a rant there, but stuff happens. Let's see. Oh, yeah, subscribe. Please subscribe. Again, patreon.com / Angel Espino. Good night, everybody. And stay safe, stay sound, and stay alive because, man, it's, again, going to be a dark, dark winter. Night all.